Yeah, you feel really lonely. All right, let's get started. Acidic slime.
Okay.
I love this
I
card.
mean, I play this as a one-of in pod. I've played it as a sideboard card. I'm not super excited about it because I remember when I used to blow people's lands up for 3 mana, but it's just like a
Yeah,
pretty sweet card.
yeah. It's I like where LD is, and I think that slime is like the right way to do it. You know, like creeping
Yeah.
mold style, not stone rain style.
Yeah.
Just so it's not completely dead. And like you said, we have pod and zenith, so it's a sweet like utility guy to have.
Super versatile card. Like I pick it high and limited.
Yeah,
Death Touch is an insane ability. We're gonna get to Deadly Recluse, but I think that's one of Green's top commons for limited.
yeah. I don't doubt it. It's really good, and again, flexibility. Like in limited, this thing plays so many roles. Like being able to cut off a splash, being able to kill a temporary removal spell, being able to kill an equipment that's gonna blow you out, or just like blowing up a land or whatever, but death touching a worm.
Yeah, the card is really good. It's insane.
Yeah.
Honestly, the real card I want to talk about though is Arbor Elf. I feel like I could write a book on this card. I
If
probably
anybody
could.
were to write a book about Arbor Elf, I bet it would be you.
Yeah.
You or Greg Weiss.
So basically, like you play standard, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you feel that Green's share of the metagame has kind of been growing on Delver?
Yes.
Which side do you play on?
I play Delver, but I'm not happy about it.
Okay, I play the green side, and I've been playing Nyapod, and I love basically with that deck. You look at your opening hand, and you look for green sources, birds, and Avacyn's Pilgrim,
Right.
right? And when I'm on the play and I have one of those, and you don't have Gut Shot, how does that feel?
I better have gut shot.
Yeah, yeah, basically. So like, Arbor Elf is really exciting because you can actually play 16 Arbor Elves now. Do you know that?
What birds, Landwar elves, Absent Pilgrim, and Arbor elves?
Yeah, that can't be that can't be right.
That is
16.
that is a lot of one mana guys.
Okay, well, what's the craziest thing you can do for 3 mana? Think about this. What if you had like Palladium Mirror, Somberwalled Sage, and Elvish Archdruid? Now we're talking like 16 Arbor Elves and 12 Palladium Mirrors, right?
Okay.
So,
So then we just play
you can
like
build a deck that's consistently playing a 6-drop on the third turn in standard right now. And I realize like Gut Shot is
yeah, I
really
was gonna say
popular for,
assuming
like,
gut shot wasn't a thing.
yeah. But I mean like you can crush people if they don't interact with you.
Yeah.
And I built a deck around this card, and my article is going up tonight on Channel Fireball, so you should check it out. It's
Check that out.
Yeah, I think that like Green is going to continue to take over the metagame, and a lot of that is because it can attack in so many angles, and there's just like new good green decks coming out. So I also think that Poison is pretty sweet. Personally, I'm just going to be playing with 16 Arbor Elves though.
Yeah, the poison deck's pretty cute. I mean, the poison deck has issues with gut shot, but it has like mental misstep and mutagenic growth. So if gut shot were a problem, there are answers available to you.
Yeah, you play Mental Misstep. I actually think that a lot of people, like, the amount of gut shots and mental missteps over the next couple months is going to go up dramatically.
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
I think that like a large part of the reason that green is starting to take over is because the mana accelerants, like all the cards that they're printing right now are just so good, and
yeah.
so like being able to play them a turn faster than your opponent is just so important. Like when it's Hunt Masters and Silver Hearts and Restoration Angels and stuff, just like all the cards are so good that you need to get really really lean to get like an edge to get like underneath theirs. They're saying I'm
Yeah.
echoing. You need to
You
put
sound fine to me.
you need to put headphones on, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, here's a thought I had. Say you built a deck and it's 20 like 20 Arbor Elves, no, 30 Arbor Elves, 20 Forest, 10 Gavany Township. Or except it's got like some green white lands. Or
Right.
just, birds. Or like 10 birds, 20 Arbor Elves, etc., etc. Just amount of guys in Gavany Townships.
Yeah.
That's just insane against Delver, right?
It's pretty good.
Yeah, and you can build that. That's just a fallback plan for green decks right now. I think a lot of the reason green is so good is Gavany Township. It's just a crazy land.
It's pretty good. I think it's definitely like a plan B,
Yeah,
but it gives you so much resilience, or so much reach, I guess, which like green decks shouldn't have.
yeah. Well, it's also like one more way to punish Mana Leak and
Yeah,
one more way
exactly.
to flip Huntmaster.
Exactly.
Yeah, one more way to show Restoration Angel. It's just like a crazy card.
Yeah, it does a lot.
Okay.
Um, Bond
I
Beetle.
what are your thoughts on this card?
I think it's sweet because like the limited form is so there's two sort of main versions of the way that games play out, like two convergence points. One is uh based around Exalted,
Mm-hmm.
and the other is like two twos and three threes running into each other.
Sure.
And this is like good at both sides of that.
Yeah, I guess it's okay. It really looks worse. Not very good against me, but I actually played against it and it was pretty good against me.
Yeah, like people. The reason it's bad is because people see it as a 1-2 for 1, but it's actually like not a 1 drop at all. It's like
Yeah.
if your curve has like 4 2 drops and 7 3 drops and 3 4 drops, then this is a 4 drop along with a 3 drop.
Yeah, it's like a point of flying power, or it boosts the guy you're attacking with that as exalted and as a chumper.
Right.
Also, the card Roaring Primadox is pretty good, and I think both of these could like come around later. So if you're like drafting with those two cards in mind, you can kind of combo them together.
Oh, I haven't even seen that card.
Oh yeah, it's like Stampeding Wildebeest or whatever,
Right.
one of those cards where you pick up a creature every turn.
It's like a really bad one of those, but it's still a 4-4
Yeah.
for 4 with, potential upside, I guess. I mean, there's also
Yeah,
Elvis Visionary, right?
Well, actually, funny story. The game we went 2-1 in this little pre-release, two at a giant. In the match we lost, uh, we basically got fogged once. The next turn we got fogged a second time. Then he used the blue card that picks up a creature from or an instant or sorcery from your graveyard and fogged the third time. And then he had Roaring Primadox, and we didn't even realize, and everyone around us watched it happen as he like fog locked us just straight up.
Wow.
It was messed up.
That is awesome.
So you can draft that deck. What's the card named? Archaeomancer or something?
Yeah.
Arcanomancer, something like that. Yeah. So you can draft like a combo fog deck in limited.
That's actually really badass.
Yeah, it's definitely playable. Like you need a removal for one of those things, but
Mastriganator in the chat says that he roarings back a Primadox, or whatever that card's called, the 5/3 that like gains 5 on the front and then gives you a 3/3 when it leaves.
Yeah, Thragtusk, you mean?
Or Thragtusk? Yeah.
Yeah, I normally use Thragtusk with it in the limited personally.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that deck when we get to that card.
Yeah.
Boundless Realms, this thing costs $1 million.
I don't know why, but I want to play with it.
Yeah, shocking.
Yeah. I want to play it with Bountiful Harvest, the next card, and Dread Waters.
And then you have your Archaeomancer and your
Snapcaster Mage.
yeah. It's I don't know, a pretty like Timmy card or
Although
Johnny
you
card, I guess.
you need to look at these cards, because if it did not say basic land, this card would be playable. You could build a deck around it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it would be
win a
like
tournament, yeah.
Scapeshift.
I get 4 Glimmer Posts. It gains 16 straight up.
Yeah,
so if you get to it,
it would be Scapeshift.
it would be, yeah. So
it's definitely something that's happened before where people just like neglect, big sorceries like this, like Tooth and Nail. It took forever for people to catch on to Tooth and Nail.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm really not unhappy about this card, even though it's like complete trash, because I've, this card has made me think about going to a tournament with the Dreadwaters deck and just trolling people. So it's like causing me quite a bit of enjoyment just it existing.
well, I mean, there is some credence to like once you play this, it's like a mana short, right? You draw spells for the rest of the game.
Yeah, yeah. Also, I mean, you could play it in EDH or something. It's crazy with Grazing Bladeheart or
Yeah,
play
yeah.
to GFP it or whatever.
I mean, I could definitely see, like, who's somebody who drafts just like absurd off the like Reed Duke or someone,
Hmm.
something with this and yeah, I guess Bountiful Harvest is probably the best card to do something with it.
Bountiful Harvest is another card that I actually have never played Bountiful Harvest, I think.
I've
I,
boarded it in a couple times. Like, when Lava Axe Fire Slinger was a
sure, I
deck.
mean, I can imagine doing it. It's just never came up. I've been hoping it comes up so I can.
Yeah. Hey, you know what is really bad? A bad sign for your deck if you're using
What?
Boundless Realms to fix
Yeah,
to get your
that's
stash.
really bad. Well, I'd be willing to do that, actually. I'd be like, and it fixes my mana on top of
Yeah,
that?
yeah. It's like when you have a Magma Quake in your green, white, black
Oh my
deck.
God, yeah, that's gonna happen actually. Someone's gonna do that.
Yeah, Bountiful Harvest. It's whatever. I mean, I'm happy that these like
You
filler
know what?
cards that have niche applications keep they're core set staples
Yeah.
because they're skill testers, right? Like a really bad player will play them and lose because it's bad.
Well, I was just about to say I'm excited to play it now that you said that. So maybe I'm on the wrong side of the skill
No, no, no.
tester.
I was gonna say it's like the really bad players like don't understand why it's bad and so
Yeah.
don't play it, and then the okay players that are pretty not professional grade
Sure.
like understand why it's bad and so they'll never play it. But then the truly good players that like can play professionally are the ones that know, even though it's bad and understand why it's bad, know when it's worthwhile.
Say you had two X spells. Would you play it?
Maybe. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
maybe.
it's so contextual, but like
You think about it.
I've definitely considered it before, and I know I've boarded it in multiple times.
Well, I know two-headed giant is different, right? But
Yeah.
like if I had this, oh by the way, story about that. But if I had this, I would probably put it in my deck. I felt that the games went pretty long, although mill was a thing. But I feel like if
Yeah.
you build your deck in such a way with like Death Touchers and Giant Scorpions, you can use this, and then you're just gonna. I mean, it's like really a mana short ability,
Yeah.
at least.
The 2HG metagame. G core set metagame.
Yeah,
We're making strides.
extremely relevant.
Yeah. Since our Corsair, solid, green doing what green does best. I
Yeah, I
like
would
that
love
the mana guy that you love, what's his Arbor Elf?
Elf.
Yeah. I had two of the Arbor Elf and one of these, and I played it on turn 2 a lot,
Yeah,
which is pretty good, like especially on the play.
yeah. I bet opponents didn't like that very much.
No, especially when I followed up with the 3/3 for 4 with hexproof and then put a Rancor on it.
You didn't follow it up with Soul of the Harvest, though, did you?
No, no, not quite. Yeah, it's good. All right, but I really want to talk about Deadly Recluse.
You do. Okay. I mean, this was in play on the other side of the table, and I like realized that it was just going to eat a removal spell or my best creature over the course of the game,
Yeah,
and there was no way
there's
around
no,
that.
there's no avoiding it. It's like got the extra toughness, so even if there's like a pinger or a -1/-1 effect, it is trading for a real card at some point.
Yeah,
And
I mean, it is reach.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
It trades with Sarah Angel. It trades up.
There's no going around it.
Saves you 3 mana on
Can't
Sarah
go
Angel.
around it. Can't go under it. Yeah, it's I also saw like another thing about Death Touch is Prey Upon is in this. So I
Yeah.
saw multiple people like 2-for-1ing themselves to kill like the 5/5
Something it's
demon
gonna
that
kill anyways.
yeah yeah yeah.
So I don't know what the 5/5 demon is.
It's exalted, and whenever it attacks alone, you edict them.
Oh yeah.
And then like the Gorgon, the like 3/6 that turns things to stone.
Yeah. That's nice to have. I do think this is quite a bit better than Giant Scorpion, and I
Yeah,
first picked the
certainly,
Scorpion.
certainly. I would agree. Um, it's God. I had another smart thing to say about it. Come back to it.
Okay, we'll
Dustil
talk about
Worm.
it. We'll spend about another hour to it later.
Yeah, Dustil Worm. Really bad.
Is it?
Yeah,
Do you not?
the format like to me was really racy, and there's like murder and not that many guys to spend it on.
Sure. Okay, here's my thinking with this card though.
All right.
Like, I agree that the format may be racy, but if you like have these cards, you can build your deck in such a way that you can play this. I remember like Zendikar was maybe the raciest format ever, right?
Yes.
And I would play all sorts of 7 drops because I would just like prioritize Kraken hatchlings and giant scorpions over everything.
Yeah.
So I think most decks could be terrible, but if you build around it, you could probably
Yeah. I mean,
it's probably fine.
as a finisher, it is good. I just think that the format is not conducive to decks that are like, because there's not a ton of removal, and like Exalted makes it so that you're constantly under a pretty significant clock.
That's true. Although this is maybe the sweetest exalted champion of them all.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's got its place, but I think that it's like more of a niche card, a build around me card, sort of, or a role player in a very specific archetype, rather than just
Yeah.
a good card, which is what
I
I really
think
look for in limited.
it's gonna see less play than maybe last time around. Actually, no one played green in M12 except for me, and I lost. So
Um, I like we went to nationals, saying like everyone was saying don't draft green. Like as long as you don't draft green, it's fine.
yeah.
And I was like, I had no experience with the format, so I was like steadfastly like, okay, I will just avoid. Everyone's saying avoid green. I
People
will
said
not play
that, so I
green.
went into green.
And then yeah, and then I ended up playing like what was it, 15 forest between my decks and like 5 winning limited with just like
Yeah,
Garrick's
see, I had the
companions.
opposite experience,
Oh,
but I
you
mean, you could win with it, but it was just harder, right?
yeah. Well, it's just like I had 5 Garrick's companions and troll hides and
Yeah,
stuff.
I overvalued the Arachnus Web. The card's
Sure.
horrible.
I remember what I was gonna say about Deadly Recluse. I have a
Okay,
story.
okay,
So GP Boston M10, I want to say. Um, Marlon Eagle, the eventual champion,
okay.
is playing against Zach Eflin in the top 8.
Not Zac Efron though.
No, Zach Eflin, duh.
Okay.
Um, and Zach has a Deadly Recluse holding off a Tutu and a Shivan Dragon. Alright? You with me so
Mhm.
far?
Yeah.
Marlon Eagle Earthquakes for like 7.
Okay.
It's a 2/2 flyer, by the way. So it's for like
Yeah.
7. And Zach safe passages.
Ooh, nice.
So he's like, all right, like deal myself 7, like bin my random 1/1 that I happen to have.
Yeah.
And Zach's like, all right, done. He's like, no, hold on. He goes in the tank hard.
And attacks.
Yep, attacks with a 2/2.
Nice.
Zach's like, I'll block it. He's like, all right, trade.
I mean,
No.
the best part is the guy was down to trade with the Deadly Recluse. He was excited about it.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get that. I'm just gonna get that Deadly Recluse off."
yeah. And obviously, Marlon goes on to win that game and eventually the tournament.
Yeah, that's surprising.
Yeah. All right, Elder Skill Worm. You want to talk about finishers?
I don't know why this card doesn't get me excited.
You like
Uh,
Dustil Worm, but not
Yeah,
Mythic Dust
actually,
Worm?
I mean, for a mythic, I mean, I don't really like Platinum Angel very much, and this really reminds me of that.
Yes, I mean it's green platinum angel pretty much.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess the body is much bigger, which is nice.
what?
The body of this is much bigger than Platinum Angel, which was
Oh,
maybe.
platinum angel. I thought you were talking about Dust Worm. I'm like, they're
No,
actually
no.
identical. One just has a bunch of text about how you can't die.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane and limited, right? But I just don't see it for constructed.
No, I mean me neither, but it's. I'm pretty sure it's real good and limited. Like,
Uh,
if you're spending 7, this is what you want to be doing.
it's unbeatable on the table, right?
Yeah, it's real hard.
That's what the text says.
It's right. It says it uses a lot of words and a lot of numbers. Well,
Yeah.
the number 7 a lot of times, I guess.
Yeah, it uses that. I guess they're really pushing the square stat mythic with this one, right?
Well, they feel
Step.
bad about taking off the symmetry of Gristlebrand by making it cost 8, so they're making up for it by putting a bunch of 7s on this
Yeah,
guy.
exactly. It's awesome. I like that actually. Just noticed that 7 is all over it.
Yeah.
It should just be called 7 Worm. I really love that.
Yeah, like as a mythic from a design perspective, it's like, or it makes sense as a mythic just because of like the pretty unique effect and like, little kids look at it and they're like, wait, I can never die? And it's a 7/7.
Yeah, they're pretty excited about a card like that.
Yeah, so I understand it at mythic even though it like doesn't really make sense to a spike.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think that like Crater Hoof Behemoth is the premium
Yeah.
big green drop in standard right now. If you want to go up the ladder all the way, so not much room.
I love how you're talking constructed for all these.
Oh, I mean, I'm talking constructed and limited, right? But yeah, yeah. I mean, I have looked at all these for constructed.
Yeah. No,
Like
it's good to
Reckless-
it's good to know that somebody is, going to Gatherer, searching all the cards in standard, is sorting by converted mana cost in descending order, and making sure those back pages, get some attention.
Yeah, I actually did that for green cards a couple days ago.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah,
Is Genesis Wave still legal?
it is, but it's not where you want to be right now.
All right, I believe you.
I've tested it.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
Are you gonna play a Cavern of Souls and name Worm? Or what's Behemoth?
No,
Name
you
Behemoth?
can't really do that because of Arbor Elf. You need forests, and you have like those 16 ones aren't all elves. There's like human
Humans,
monk and
yeah.
bird.
yeah.
Yeah. So Elvish Archdruid. Have you ever played with this card?
Yeah. I mean, I played combo elves in standard for nationals like 3 years ago.
This card's insane, right?
Yeah, it's real good.
Yeah.
Lords are always sweet, and then
It's
Priest
a
of
mana engine,
Titania
too.
is always sweet, and
It
this
does
is
everything.
both. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the card's awesome because and it's really what has given a lot of elf combo decks so much depth
Yeah.
because it's similar to it is your mana engine. You would play that without the +1/+1 for sure.
Right, it plays both sides really well. Like, if you're on the beatdown plan or the combo plan, this is probably your best card.
Yeah, it's just the best elf card. This
Yeah.
card.
And, I mean, it's so much more flavorful and relevant than the old one. What was, they gave, like, Forest Walk?
Oh, Elvish Champion, is that it?
I don't know. But, the old Lords,
I think it was Elvish Champion.
were not exactly cutting it, and I definitely like Archdruid as the new
Yeah,
Lord.
it's crazy powerful as a green lord.
I accept
and
him
I
as
like it.
I accept
Any-
him as our new Overlord.
It's all right and limited. I'll play it, but anytime it's in standard, you need to be aware of how many elves are
Yeah.
kind of in standard.
Yeah,
'Cause
no,
it
it's
could be
definitely
that
powerful
just
enough.
because of this card.
Right, it's definitely powerful enough that there's like a precipice that like if WotC Prince is one too many elves, it pushes it over that tipping point, and then like it's one of the best decks in the format. I mean,
And I
that's,
love it when that happens.
yeah, that's what happened in like when 5-color control was on the decline. What tournament was that? It was around nationals, the one that Gindi won.
Mm-hmm.
That like leading up to that tournament, basically that's what happened, and
Everyone had range reveals, right? You played
yeah,
that?
yeah, like that was the deck to beat at that tournament.
That deck was so good. I
Yeah,
loved that.
yeah, it was real good. I was the only one, or I was one of the very few people that had silence in their sideboard for the mirror.
For the mirror,
Yeah,
seems okay. It just buys one turn, right? Is it
that's
was
all you
it
need.
like
It's all you need.
that's all you need? Okay. Did
Yeah.
you play Elvish Visionary? This next card?
Yes.
Really? I
Yes.
actually don't like this card that much.
What?
I like it with Wirewood Symbiote, but
It's like your
it's
it's like your Silvergill adept.
it can be. Oh, actually, I top aided the last extended season PTQ with an Elf combo deck. I don't think that I played this card.
Really?
Yeah, I'm checking my deck list right now.
It's so good to just power through your deck though.
Yeah, if draw a single card is powering through your deck.
It is. Cuz like
Yeah,
you only need like a critical mass of specific things, right? Like of elves and then your one go-to card, whatever that happens to be in whatever arc or whatever build of whatever format.
I just felt like mana is really at a premium, and like you usually don't get the mana back. I mean, you think you might with Elvish Archdruid, but I feel that you usually do not get the 2 mana back.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be. I want every card to be adding mana for at least the next turn.
Yeah. You may be right. I'm a sucker for value.
Yeah, I mean, I think the card is sometimes good enough, but I mean,
It's
like with Wirewood Symbiote, it's insane. I'm down with that.
Yeah, yeah. It's also real good and limited, especially in exalted sets. And just because 2 drops are so hard to come by in limited.
I like it. I like it a lot in limited. I'm what's the blue one? The Alchemist
Yeah, yeah, Alchemist
guy.
Apprentice.
That guy is like really overperformed for everyone, I think.
Yeah, that guy's real sweet. Can you imagine if they printed blue Elvis Visionary in the set with like Peel from Reality
It'd
and
be
all stuff?
insane. By the way, I feel like that card reads like one in a blue for a 1/1. What? This does something else too? It was already good enough to play.
Yeah, and then we talked about the 4/4 that bounces guys every turn. You have to return it every
Oh,
turn.
yeah, I haven't even noticed that yet.
You visionary that thing. It's pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, I guess the 4/4 might be a pretty high pick just because it combos pretty well with a couple other decent green
Yeah,
cards.
I'm definitely gonna go like back through the spoiler and count them up.
Yeah, I just want to fog lock someone though.
Yeah. Farseek. This is the replacement for rampant growth, and
Mm.
it's basically rampant growth unless you're trying to go to forest. But
Yeah.
this being printed, do you believe that this all but confirms reprinting Ravnica duels?
You know, I worked at I interned at Wizards in the spring, and I played with Return to Ravnica, so I actually know the answer to that.
Oh, you probably
But
shouldn't say.
yeah, so I'm not really gonna say much on that. I mean, like, I think that I can be kind of objective here and separate myself. And like, it's Return to Ravnica. I think that Farseek is an indicator that that might happen, but also Flinthoof Boar and that sequel is kind of an
Yeah.
indicator that that might happen.
Yeah.
And you know, I can't say one way or the other, but like, I definitely understand why people are talking about that.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's quite likely. There's also like the searching swamps, specifically swamp cards,
Yeah.
There's like, which, they're trying to do mono black being swamp centric, so that might not be another hint on, but, you can take it either way. Either way, Farseek is cool.
Yeah, I actually have something significant to say about this card,
Please.
Farseek. So, like I was saying with Arbor Elves, if you got too many of an effect like that, you can kind of build a deck around it. Well, Farseek is an extra rampant growth, and that deck already has plenty of rampant growths, but something is like 8 rampant growths means you can play 8 of them, and at 4 you can play Solemn and Snapcaster Mage now. Blue,
Yes.
green, ramp has never been good, but there's a time for it to be good, it's over the next couple months, and I don't think it will be because of Snapcaster or just Snag and some other things. But like, I really want to build a deck with 8 of these, 4 Ponder,
And
4 Primeval
Snapcaster.
Titan,
Yeah.
yeah, Snapcaster.
Yeah, I tried to build that deck as well. And basically, having to play Sphere instead of Farseek was, or more Rampant Growth was definitely holding it back.
It was a big boner kill. It was.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you have Temporal Masteries?
I did, but I was told later that it exiles and you can't Snapcaster, and that.
You can't Snapcaster it, but it's like either explore or win the game.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It seemed awesome.
Yeah. All right, Flint Hoof 4. I love this cycle.
Yeah, the blue-white one is a beating.
Yeah, well, they're all beatings except for the elephant.
Yeah, that's so sad. Prized elephant.
He's not so prized.
No, he's not. He's still good though.
My opponent, like, I was familiar with, or I knew that this cycle existed, but like I didn't know what they all did specifically. And my opponent played the prized elephant on turn 3 off of an elf, and I was just like, oh shit, like, what does this do? And then I read it, and it's just like a 4/4 trampler.
You gotta pick up their card and read it and be like, what is this, like a 6/6 or something?
Yeah,
oh, never mind,
exactly,
it's nothing.
exactly. I thought its like green ability was gonna be like lure or something a little more impressive than trample on a 4/4.
Oh, never mind. I thought you played a real card, but you skipped your turn instead.
Yeah, it was pretty embarrassing. But I mean, this one's really good. The blue one is really good, and the blue-black one is like unreal too.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, it's interesting because you can get these really late because Grizzly Bear does not go too early. So if you're green-red, these just kind of fall into your lap, I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah, because even if someone's green, they're not necessarily going to be able to take advantage of it. So it'll go later than, and which doesn't even make any sense, right? Because like people probably take this lower than they take Grizzly Bears.
Yeah, they do. Like oh, I can't use it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the old Kabu Titan story. Have you heard that one?
No, I want to. No, what is it?
So Kabu Titan is a Grizzly Bear.
I've played a lot of Kabu Titan.
Okay, I need to tell the people.
Oh, okay, sure. I forgot.
Yeah, don't forget that we're not just hanging out. There's 250 people watching.
Yeah.
It's a Grizzly Bear that has Kicker 3 and comes into play with 3+1/+1 counters. Is that right?
5 mana 5/5.
Right. So 2 mana 2/2 or 5 mana 5/5, and so they were testing. I wish I remembered the story better, but people were testing for a pro tour, and they had this green-red like super aggressive deck, like fires, like pre-fire, I guess.
Which was awesome. A bunch of people from the Pacific Northwest played this, like Mike Thompson and some other guys who were better back then. But yeah, green-red was insane in that format.
Yeah, and story here. All right, now I don't have to ruin it. Oh, it's Mero telling it. I was hoping it was BDM. Whatever. The short version is like the guy's win rate was unbelievable, off the charts, and so he's just like, wow, like this deck is really, really good, and so he's playing it, and the guy who built the deck was like, oh, the Grizzly Bears in there are actually like proxies for Kabu Titans, so like don't forget you can kick them. And then the guy started losing because he kept trying to make 5/5s instead of just playing the 2/2, which was like enough.
That's funny. It's
yeah.
Kabu Titan actually worse than Grizzly Bear.
Yeah, I love that story.
That's funny. I wonder how much that happens, or that kind of thing happens without you realizing.
Yeah.
Just trying to get extra value.
It is. There is definitely a lesson to be learned.
Okay, Fog is an awesome card. I like Fog.
It's real good in Core Set 2HG.
Okay, I play. It is. It's also good in one-on-one Pack Wars, which I played last night with this guy who doesn't play very much Magic, but I kept fogging him. There was a fog in my pack, and I got to play it twice at crucial turns, and he got so mad by the card.
That's pretty awesome. I love having cards like this. around just like it adds so much more intrigue in the gameplay, and you always have an out to,
Yeah.
overrun or some nonsense.
It's really fun. It's like really green. Actually think that it's good, and I play it. I
Yeah.
play it when it's like limited.
Yeah. And like I said, if the format is super race oriented, like it felt like to me, then it's actually like pretty main deckable.
Can you believe that no one is Snapcaster maging this?
Yet.
Is this illegal?
Yet.
Yeah. Do you know how many Howling Mines you can play right now?
Like two, right? And they're
Yeah,
really
yeah.
bad.
Right, and the Atlas.
Yeah. The
But
Atlas
like,
like isn't even a real.
it's not really, but it could be. I mean, that has the potential. Like,
Howling Mine costs two.
yeah. Well, there's the Rites of Flourishing. You can play the
Is Rites of
Atlas. You play
Flourishing legal?
Temporal Mastery. You play Fog, Snapcaster Mage,
I mean, I definitely played Turbo Fog when we had literal Howling Mine and Jace B
and
and
Temple
Time
or
Walk.
Font of Mythos.
Yeah, and Font of Mythos. Yeah, I played that version of Fog, but if you're talking about playing some Atlas and Temporal Mastery instead of Time Warp, it's a bit more of a stretch.
I mean, it's something you could play at F&M.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I don't F&M, so
Yeah, me neither.
I'm
But
not gonna
like,
waste,
well, I kind of do. People play my decks at F&M,
Sure,
so
you're
I
just the
feel as though I play
brewmaster.
F&M.
Yeah, like
I'm part of the culture.
if I played F&M, I would love to play a deck like that, but I can't waste a flight and a hotel room on a deck like that.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
never get
yeah.
to do
And all
fun.
my buys,
Yeah, I
my
never get
entire career.
my life roll, my life bankroll. Yeah,
Yeah.
I never get to play sweet decks like those, which is sad, but I bet it's sweet. Fungal sprouting,
Mm,
thoughts?
it seems okay. I'm not really excited about it,
I actually
but
did not play it main deck because I had a million 4 drops, but
yeah.
boarded it in like 3 or 4 times. Um, when we were in like exalted fights.
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. So there we go.
So like you attack and your guy is huge, and then you make like 6 guys instead of 3, and then you have a million chump blockers, or like you're able to swarm a turn earlier than if you just kept attacking with one guy a turn.
Hmm.
And it was really good in those situations, but like I the card that I replaced it with, because it was like one of my last cuts.
Yeah.
I kind of like made a mental note of like, all right, when I draw this, think about how sprouting would be
Yeah.
or whatever, and it was like constantly horrible.
Really, you wanted sprouting more?
No, 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 I didn't. I
Oh.
wanted sprouting less. I was glad that I didn't have sprouting most of the time. The only times I didn't
Yeah.
were like these 3 out of the like 9 rounds I played, or what, 8 or 9 rounds. There were 3 matchups where it was specifically good, and I brought it in and it was fine.
It seems quite a bit worse than the Master's Call, I think.
Yeah. Well,
Although I want to play this card in a deck with Master's Call and the white Caliber Lord,
right, right. Yeah,
which
Sam and I were actually talking yesterday about how there may be, some token strategies that
yeah,
are
the vampire. I heard you talking about that.
unexplored. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like there's a couple enablers and
Oh,
a couple like linchpins, I guess, and then a bunch of token makers. So there's definitely
you
stuff
know,
to do.
you could really just KO someone out with Bloodthorn Vampire in this potentially.
Yeah, it's you can make a lot of guys and then make it very big.
Okay, Garrick, what do you have to say on this? I know, I heard you talking about how you hated the -3.
you you read my mind. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's horrible from a design perspective to have the minus be equal to its entering loyalty, because all too often it plays like a sorcery, which isn't good for the planeswalker, which isn't good for the game. But besides that, um, I think that this one is a lot. I like having this one around a lot more than the 4 mana one, or
The
I
four
guess the
mana one was a little too good, I think.
yeah, exactly. It's like too explosive, and this is more of like
It's awesome. It feels so big, you
It's
know.
yeah, and it's like this sort of more incremental advantage that is good. Like you can get ahead with it, but the other person can still come back. It's not like an
Yeah, you
overwhelming
know what
thing.
I also like is I like that the +1 and the -6 fight on the same axis, right?
Yes,
So like a Day of Judgment can potentially be a pretty good answer to this card,
yes,
as opposed to an ultimate that actually just ends the game.
right. And of course, triple green being a little limiting because it is quite powerful. So triple green, just kind of keeping it in check. It's nice. I don't think that it's going to see a lot of constructed play for a while just because the 5 slot in a lot of decks are packed
Oh
and
yeah,
we still have Zenith and Pod, so you want your 5 mana spells to be creatures that you can search up. But, like, we haven't seen the last of this guy.
especially with Thrag Tusk,
Yeah,
which
that thing
we'll
is
get
the
to.
real deal.
That card is insane.
Yeah. Derek's pack leader.
Um, I need to see how many 3 power guys there are. I haven't like gone through this with
Yeah,
cards in
like there's
mind.
no companion, which is important. You have the flint hoof boar, and you have
You have the Courser.
the courser and the 3/3 for 4 hexproof as the
You
ones that
know,
come to mind right now.
if I opened with this and a Deadly Recluse, I would not know what to do.
I'd be pretty taking recluse.
Really, you take it over the pack leader for sure.
I'm pretty sure. Like again, I haven't played a lot of the
Ooh,
format,
well,
but
also the Spider, which we'll get to, is a 5 drop at common, which is really, really good.
I don't know about a 5 drop spider. I guess we'll get to that.
We'll get to it. But I mean, I think that this is
It's
like for
definitely
whatever
very
reason,
good.
this set in AVR has had like kind of a dearth of 2 drops. Actually, 2 drops are always just insanely good just because they cost 2. I take that back.
Exactly. And that's one of the reasons that I think Deadly Recluse edges this thing out. And like I said, there's actually a decent amount of removal and not that many key guys to kill. So I'm not super comfortable spending 5 or 6 mana on something that's just gonna die,
Yeah, it's
which is abnormal for a core set. Normally it's like Sarah Angel, I win, but like,
this card is actually like crazy slow if you think
yeah,
about it.
exactly. But I mean, a 4/4 is a good body. It's still a very good card. It's just
I think
not as good
5 mana
as.
4/4 got worse this time around, right?
Yes, I agree. Well, like
Yeah.
it's all impacted by Exalted, and there's a ton of Death Touch.
Yeah.
So, meh.
Okay.
Ground Seal. I I guess they thought that this was what was gonna finally shut down Snapcaster.
I don't know. I actually think this card's really interesting. Back in like 2004, 2005, my brother and I built an Enchantress deck that played like 3 of these. You just, this draws cards. You could pick it up with Words of Wind. And I remember in the Grand Prix Seattle, which was my first Grand Prix, my brother is in. I walked over. My match had just finished, and it was like turn 5 of extra turns, and there was a huge crowd. My brother's this little kid, and he has a crazy board state, and everyone's like, "What's going on?" He's picking up stuff with the Words of Wisdom, right?
Yeah.
And he plays Eternal Witness and goes to get his snap or something. I think that was our combo. I don't remember. But he couldn't because he had a ground seal in
Oh
play, and the entire
no.
crowd is just groaning, right?
Oh
But
no.
he's able to he has to play some other stuff, and he
Bounces the
is able
ground
to.
seal and his witness and does it again.
Yeah, he does. He actually does. And then he won. And then I think that me and him both didn't make day 2. I finished in like 66th, but the next day me and him both went undefeated through a PDQ together,
Wow.
eventually losing in the quarters. But this was a really important card in that deck. So completely different context this time
Yeah.
around. I don't think that it. I don't think you want to spend 2 mana on this kind of an effect.
Yeah, I agree. Even with the cantrip, the format is just so fast.
Yeah, there's so many options for green cards. I just don't think this is the one you want, even sideboarded.
Yeah, I agree. Um, and then Vuli Beast Tracker. I've not seen this one.
Um,
Meh, this card's pretty sweet, I guess.
it seems someone I read an article on Brainburst or Magic.tcg player, and some guy I don't remember who it was, but he was talking about playing this in Constructed. He said it was on his short list or something.
Well, let's see what it finds.
Does that sound right to you?
I mean, no, but I'm trying to think of, what you can do with it. You can find Acidic Slime,
Primeval Titan.
Sigarda, yeah, Primeval Titan, Stinger Fling Spider,
You can.
um, Geist the Saint Trap. All right, I'm out of.
I think that he's wrong, but I think it's really interesting he said that because I hadn't even considered that. It
Yeah,
seems fine, I guess.
yeah, it's definitely possible in a land where we don't have awesome green tutors.
It feels so Zendikar to me. It looks so Zendikar.
Yeah, it does. Ooh, Dungrove, somebody pointed.
Yeah,
Dungrove decks
it's
are pretty all in on Dungrove, so having tutors for it would not be the worst.
yeah. I mean, you have Green Sun Zenith. Do you want another four? You have 12 Dungroves.
I don't know.
You could.
I don't know. I'm no Dungrove expert.
I don't know. I think if you're
All I know is
playing,
Rancor on it is sweet.
if I'm playing green, I'm playing Palladium Mirrors at the three. So no business.
You have a slightly different approach.
Yeah,
Naturalize, yes. I'm always happy that this card exists.
I'm really happy that exists, and it's not the 3-mana version, and that
Yes.
Plummet exists, and it's not grounded.
Yes, exactly.
I hated that about AVR. AVR was fantastic but like the cards at the very bottom just did not like.
Yeah, there was too much of a disparity, like a power gap between the really, really good cards and everything else was such bad filler.
Yeah, and the problem is like if you open a bad rare, it stings, but just grounded is in so many of your packs. You
Yeah.
always have to see that guy.
Yeah. It's just like insulting almost.
Yeah, well, it's kind of interesting because those cards are actually get added in like the latest in development if you're developing a set.
Yeah, the filler.
Yeah, so it's like really you need to spend a lot of attention on those cards, and it's actually kind of hard because you need to be like really intimate with the whole system. And I feel like Innistrad just felt as though it got more of that like care or something just because it was so much deeper.
Yeah.
Like you cannot find a grounded in Innistrad. Like Innistrad was just
I mean, Innistrad
almost
was
perfect.
beautiful. Yeah,
Almost perfect.
it was really, really good.
Yeah. But it's just nice when you like have good sideboard cards, right?
Yeah. Dude, Innistrad was so good. Can that just be what we draft from now on?
I would draft actually. Well, I got sick of Innistrad because I couldn't stop drafting blue red. I would try to stop and I couldn't.
All right, yeah, I'm glad those cards exist. Predatory Rampage. This is the new Overrun, and I'm ecstatic. Overrun is finally rare, and that's finally
Yeah.
the standard.
Ooh, they really fixed that because they made the fireball worse and they made the mind control worse. So they just like took out that kind of bomb uncommon thing, which I think
Yes.
makes the format play way better.
Yes, and it took them forever, and I mean, like Aaron Forsyth would get into heated arguments on like his blog and Twitter with people that like mind control wasn't too good when just like to anyone who played competitively it very obviously was.
Mhm.
And but yeah, they switched that and Overrun
They
and
did it. They gave the switcheroo, you could say.
ha ha.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm very, very happy about it. As for this card, it's obviously still a bona fide bomb. I'm just glad it's rare and not uncommon.
You know, super unrelated, but once we mentioned switcheroo, I want to say that like it is way worse. It's still pretty good. Last night in the pack wars, I had a switcheroo in my pack, and my opponent had tried to redirect an Oblivion Ring, so I knew he had redirect.
Mm-hmm.
He was so mad to find out he couldn't redirect Oblivion Ring,
The
and he also couldn't redirect
switcheroo, right?
Yavimaya, this 3-mana 2/2 that gave my guy +2/+2. Right, he was popping veins about not being able to redirect. He finally finally I play switcheroo and switch for his best guy, and he's like figuring out that I'm gonna own it forever, and then he's resigned to it. I'm like, oh, you can redirect it though. It's target, and then he goes and looks through his lands, and he had just tapped his island to cycle an island, so he couldn't even do it.
Wow. That is awesome.
Yeah, but for this card, this is just way better than Overrun, right?
Um, yeah, I mean, they're kind of different. Like, Overrun almost always ended the game, whereas this, um, like, if they have a couple dorks or whatever, then, like, they can still be at a decently high life total, like 8 or whatever, with, basically no board.
Yeah, well, I mean, like,
It's a recoverable position than Overrun, which is where, like, you have with all your guys anyway, and you also take additional damage.
true, but I feel like Overrun is often you have like only two guys in play. So you have two guys and your opponent's at 20. Overrun is actually not very good there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like this is like plague win.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It takes down the like randomness of Overrun, in that it still has utility otherwise, and that it's way more castable. I actually think this is just like overall a better card, and I'm glad it's rare.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Or a better card in that it's a better design,
Yeah. Well, it's a little more elegant. I think trample is kind of sweet. If this was called like, oh well, if like an evergreen keyword for this, it'd be awesome. Like
Yeah.
a lure type thing.
Yeah. Meh.
Yeah.
Prey upon.
Glad it's common. There's a lot of death touch you can fight with. It's just nice that green has good removal also.
Yes. Finally. It's been too long.
Yeah, I just want green to have all the best tools, and blue to just suck it.
I had a prey upon, and I had 2 of this hexproof guy and 2 pro black knights. So I was just killing stuff for free, no problem, like real easy.
Yeah.
And that was pretty sweet. One guy had the Gorgon, the 3/6 death touch, and like 2 prey upons, and so
Yeah,
it's just
I
like
know that
actual murders.
you have to trade a good card to do that. Speaking of the Gorgon and the two-headed giant, we played against a father and his son, and they had their 2 Gorgons in one of the decks. The foil Gorgons.
Yeah.
Like, pre-release prize.
Yeah. Well, my opponent played the pre-release promo, and I was just like, "Oh, brother, dude, like, all right."
So many people do that.
Yeah, I was like, "You can't do that." And he was like, "Oh, no. I opened one. I just wanted to play with this one." And he like showed me one in his sideboard.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's brutal because you think for a moment you're getting out of the Gorgon situation and you're not.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the hexproof guy, while we're on it, it's sweet because of Exalted, like they can't, neck snap you or whatever to time walk you. And it's a pretty big body, and they can't, if they try and do something, they try and like team block or whatever, when you have a pump spell, they can't just murder. And then also you can put a Rancor or a Dark Favor or whatever you want on it. And
I put a green ring on him, and it was awesome.
yeah, the green ring. There's also the Vampire Nighthawk enchantment.
Yeah, this card's good. This card's really good, actually.
Yeah, it's like there are a ton of 4-drops, or at least I've seen a ton of 4-drop. Like my curve felt super glutted at 4. Like I cut multiple 4-drops and was still glutted at 4, and pretty much all my opponents were too. And I think that this might be the best, if not one of the best 4-drops that you could
I agree.
play.
It's really good. It's better than anything in green more consistently outside of when the Primadox is insane.
Yeah.
But like is there even a good I guess Yeva. No, I like this more than Yeva actually. I just think this is the best green 4-drop in the set for limited.
Primordial Hydra for 2, maybe.
Oh yeah, Hydra's got to be better.
Yeah. This thing is unreal.
Speaking of the next card, which is on my screen,
It is like
and it's just better.
it's so stupid to like play with / against, because
With
it's
the
just
Hydra?
like yeah, like it's funny because you're both just like sitting waiting, like one guy's waiting to kill you and one guy's waiting to die, Like when the board's stalled. Oh, when it's attacking for 4 and then attacking for 8 and then killing you, it's not as interesting. But when you you know, play it for 4 and then you have to wait like 3 turns and try and
Yeah,
get one
the
big hit
chump
in,
blocking every turn.
yeah, like that. It's such a weird, such an awkward standoff where you're just like looking at your opponent. You're like, all right, am I dead yet?
Yeah, I think they could not put trample on it because there's no room for more text.
Yeah, and well, it has trample once it gets huge.
Oh, it does. Never mind.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
see that. Okay,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
like you're just waiting for it to be like lethal over all their toughness, basically. And I'm very glad that it is
Mythic.
a mythic for
Yeah, I
limiting
agree.
purposes.
The card is really good.
Yeah. Kyrian Dryad. I had one of these and grew it quite a bit. It was sweet.
Really.
So let's talk about constructed for a second. I know a couple people have been talking about this.
Matt Costa, I read his article.
There are
Uh,
quite a few cheap, if not free, colored spells.
I agree, and here's the reason why I don't think it's going to pan out.
All
And
right.
it's the Tower and Sky Commander the Tower and decks too. They play this both of these cards, right?
The what?
Talrun is the blue 4 mana 2
Yeah, that makes two twos.
Drakes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, like Gutshot, you actually just want to play turn one most of the time. Gitaxian Probe, you also often want to play turn one.
Right.
Um,
I mean, I almost never play Pro Wonder in one, but
okay, maybe I'm wrong on that, but I just feel like the deck list like looks really sweet, but I feel like the way it'll play out, not as much with the Dryad, but especially with the Summoner, is you just have like a lot of your zeros are already in your graveyard by the time you play it.
right. And that may be true, but I mean, Probe. I don't think that's necessarily the case. And then you're still cantripping throughout the game. Snapcaster still gives you a ton of value. I think it might be legit. I mean, I
Yeah,
haven't looked
it's
into it.
okay.
I haven't looked into it, but I think that the biggest thing holding it back would be the mana.
I think the biggest thing holding it back for Delver decks is it doesn't have evasion.
Well, yeah, there's that too. But I mean,
But
there isn't a lot of chump blocking going on in standard.
well, I mean, I feel there is like on the ground, not in the air, but like as the guy who plays four Strangleroot Geists, four Blade Splicers, two Borderland Rangers, right? Like,
Yeah,
I'm not like if my Delver spends his second turn playing this, my Delver opponent, I'm like pretty happy because
it
it's
doesn't.
not he's
Yeah,
not like putting his foot on the gas in the air.
yeah, yeah. That makes sense. I don't know. We'll see. Rancor is like one of the most talked about cards, so we don't really have to go too far into it. But
Well,
there's Infect, there's the multiple hexproof deck, and there's the Dungrove deck. I'm sure there are more.
the card is good. I think there are
It's
better things you can do in green though, personally.
Yeah, it's quite good, but it definitely is it's asking for a very specific strategy that may not be the best thing you could be doing.
Yeah, I mean, it, if you want to play Doom over in fact, play this card. Otherwise, I don't think you should touch it in like other sorts of green decks.
Yep, I agree. Ranger's Path. I don't know what this is. Ooh, this thing's cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. Like anything ramps to is worth a look. I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't. It's like not really useful for standard right now. I don't think it's very good in limited, but it's something to keep in mind. And I do think it's good in EDH. I would play it in a green deck.
yeah. I mean, EDH is all about big spells, right? So ramping 2 is huge.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like remember how insane Veggies was?
Yeah,
This could be more insane because as you're wondering if you can use these with like forest islands or forest mountains or whatever.
yeah,
Like imagine a world where those cards are illegal. It could be standard or it could be modern even, and you just have like a green deck that likes to play a lot of colors, this card could be pretty sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sweet. Revive. Meh.
It's not really my favorite green card.
No, mine. I mean, it might have some niche application, but it's there's nothing so sweet to get back that you're really like dying for a regrowth.
I did play it in my green deck at 2 giant. If you're like pairing green with red or black and have a lot of removal, I would play it.
Well, it gets back only green cards.
You're right. I think I might have used it wrong.
You might have cheated.
I think I used it as like return an instant or sorcery.
Which is not a green ability at all.
This is actually better than I played it as.
Better?
Because I couldn't return any of my green creatures. All my creatures were green.
Well, there you go.
So this does something completely different than I thought.
Yeah, it's I genuinely generally don't think it's very good, but it definitely has its applications. It has uses.
Yeah, I feel we've talked about the Primodox quite a bit.
Yep.
I don't have anything more to say on that.
Nope.
I do have something to say about Sentinel Spider. Have you seen this?
No.
This is only a little bit worse than Sarah Angel.
This thing's common?
Yeah, it's a common that's slightly worse than Sarah Angel.
Jesus.
It has vigilance, it blocks flyers, it doesn't attack in the air, but
it gets chumped as its only but like
it's
a 4/4
getting chumped and killing them.
Yeah, a 4/4 is big enough that it's probably not getting profitably blocked, especially with Exalted.
Yeah.
To the point where, like you said, they're going to be chumping instead of dying, but if they're chumping, they're probably losing anyway.
Yeah, it's worse than Sarah Angel, but not way worse, and I would snap these up. I would take I'd probably take the 1/2 over this. I don't know, this is a road block and a win condition. It's just insanely good.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about vigilance.
Yeah.
Alright, Serpent's Gift. I don't know what this card is.
Oh. Why does it cost 3?
I don't know. Necrobite does the same thing and brings for 3 from black, right?
Yeah, card's kind of weird to me because it's like I don't know if I don't think this text is brand new, right? For a green instant, for the most part.
Like there have been variations. I don't know if there's something that just had this exact text.
Yeah, it's just weird. I just feel like it's costed pretty weird. As it
Yeah.
is, I wouldn't play it. I think it's just 3 is a lot for a trick, especially one like this.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's weird. It's like the favor of the woods of the set.
I would play it at 1, and I would maybe play it at 2.
Yeah. I'd at least consider it.
Yeah.
Silkglass Spider. Let's talk about constructability, because it's obviously, it is what it is in limited. Is this a potable creature? Is this worthwhile?
Right now, it's worse than Stinger Fling.
Okay.
That's because of Vapor Snag. As soon as Vapor Snag is out, this card is going to be played in Standard.
Okay.
At small doses, but
Short
yeah,
and sweet.
Stinger Fling is just better.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I had forgotten about that thing. Spike Baloth. Pretty bad. Like, I'd rather have any of the other 4-drops because this thing trades down a lot.
It does. It feels like a red card.
Yeah, it does. But, yeah.
It's fine. I'll play it.
Yeah. Thragtusk, another card that's super talked about.
It's so good.
It's unreal.
Something that's really weird about this to me is like leaves the battlefield and not dies, right?
Yeah.
Is this card just designed like for Vapor Snag?
Snag and like Terminus is the Wrath that was printed right before this, and
you think?
there's no Day of Judgment anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So like, obviously people are going to play Terminus over Planar Cleansing, so it's just an anti-Wrath effect, and they needed to phrase it that way because of what the Wrath it's facing is. Also, I'm sure Vapor Snag was a consideration. Although, I don't know when they were working on this set, whether it was already out that Vapor Snag was broken.
Yeah. Oh, I've been calling until Return of Ravnica comes in I've been calling this green summer because green's share has been growing, and I think that it's really just going to take over, and it has a lot to do with this, because this is so much better than any green 5 drop against
Yeah.
Delver right now. The Stingerling Spider is the next best one.
Yeah, I mean, like one of when you're playing Delver, one of the worst things that can happen is they play a Huntmaster because it it's really hard to race. Like it gains 2 and
Yeah,
then attacks for 4 and potentially 2 more and killing your guy. And
yeah,
so when it's not even when they have a pod you're in trouble. Like pod is obviously really good, but it's when they have a pod that they can turn into a Huntmaster that you're like, all right, I need to figure out a way to deal with this. Then if they then turn that Huntmaster into a Thragtusk, you're
yeah.
dead.
It gains 5 life.
Yeah,
That's a
you're just
lot
dead.
of life. Yeah, I think this card is really going to tip the scales towards green.
This thing's real good. Um, Super Grizzly Bears, awesome.
Yeah, it's fine.
I mean,
I'm done with it.
I love this type of effect in limited. Like I loved that aspect of Cold Snap. I think Cold Snap is a bad example because it's like it was super
Okay.
overused and it was a tiny set that you're drafting 3 packs of, so nobody really liked Cold Snap.
Did you play with the Llanowar Sentinel?
Yes, that card is also very fun.
Yes, I loved that card.
Yeah, me too. And so I love those types of effects. I love drafting Squadron Hawks. And this one's really cool because, I mean, a 2/2 for 2 is certainly playable.
It seems really good,
And
actually.
if you add 2 in play, it's like real good.
Imagine if you had like 4 of these in your draft deck.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd feel invincible.
Yeah, yeah. You're like, turn 2 this, turn 3, maybe you take it off, you play a 3-drop, and then turn 4,
Yeah.
2 more, attack for 4 with this one. Whoa.
You would lose your sense of reality.
Yeah.
You'd forget all the little people.
All right, so Nationals, 2 or 3 years ago. All my stories today are from past Nationals.
Nice.
Owen Turdenwald drafted a Squadron Hawk deck in which he had 5 Hawks.
Mm-hmm.
And he mulligans to 4 against this guy, and he's just bemoaning his luck, just oh, I can't believe I mulled to 4. All right, yeah, I'll keep. And then his first draw is a Squadron Hawk, and he's like, yes. Yeah. So turn 2 is a Squadron Hawk, and his opponent's like, yep. And he picks up his deck and pulls out the other 4, and it's just all right, go up to 7 cards, you're up. And the guy's just like, dude, you can only find 3 with Squadron Hawk.
What?
Squadron Hawk you can only find 3 more Squadron Hawks.
Did he draw the Squadron Hawk next turn?
No, I wish. I wish I could tell the story that way, but no, he just picked up Squadron Hawk and read it. He's just like, this card, what? That's bullshit, man. I should be able to get all my Hawks. But yeah, it was fine. He didn't draw it, and ended up crushing the guy. But that's my Squadron Hawk story.
Yeah.
Titanic Growth. I don't like this card.
I heard you talking about that. I agree with you.
Okay. Enough said.
Although, actually, I was on I agreed with you, but I was on the opposite side because I thought this was a sorcery. And I was like, why does white get a way better pump than Titanic Growth?
No, that was Monstrous Growth?
Yeah, that's what I thought this one was.
Yeah, it's from Portal or something, right?
But yeah, I agree that it costing an extra and not being better gets the point across rather than it just being
outclassing.
Way worse. Although, yeah, I
strictly
prefer it if
outclassing.
you can find different ways for a color to do something rather than just a strictly worse way,
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think that. I think being able to just hold up 1 mana was so awesome, and it added so much more tension. But 2, it's still not it's not neck snap where it's
not as good as Giant Growth.
Yeah, exactly. It's not neck snap where you're playing face up, but it's still a little easier to kind of weed out.
Although I think you discounted neck snap because it's also a smite, right?
Neck snap plays both ways.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you can kill a blocker, which I think is pretty good.
Yeah, it is. But except like most of my white decks are going to be only attacking with one creature at a time, so killing a blocker doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
I really like Exalted, in case you didn't notice.
I'm okay. I mean, the only PDQ that I top aided where Shards of Alara was a thing, draft. I think I first picked a Crescent Squire, and I drafted a two-color deck, which is really unusual for that format. I think that's the only time I ever did it.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up losing in the semis because my opponents played more colors than me. It's like,
Hmm.
oh, my cards are way better than yours over the course of a game because I have four colors of them and you only have two.
Password
But
Forger.
yeah, okay. I mean, I don't have much to say about this. I like it.
The art is weird.
It is. It's really cool though.
It
The
it,
art.
it is, but his like little mouth thing, I don't know, it looks graphic.
It's
It
creepy.
looks it looks
What do you
triple
mean
X.
graphic?
It looks triple X.
It does. And it's gonna gobble up those little guys down there.
Yeah. Does this guy have a cape?
No.
I need to zoom in. There's a little red thing. It looks like a cape. Yeah, dude, he's
Oh yeah, he
totally
does
wearing
have
a
a cape.
cape.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I like that it's only a single green instead of Grawworm, which actually like you actually might sometimes in like blue decks you splash a card like this.
Yeah. Yeah, when you need to kill him.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, only two more cards left. I've not seen either of
Yeah.
these.
They're both kind of stinky.
You have a Nature's Herald, a
I'm
4
super
mana
disappointed
4/4
with
with
this card.
Flash. Why? This card's sweet.
I just don't agree.
I mean, it's
I,
not like top tier constructible, but
yeah,
it's like sweet from a design perspective.
it is. It's really sleek. It's a 4/4 for 4. It's like it hasn't really done something like this before. It's certainly a rare. I just feel that like
They could have done something more with Yeva.
it's well, I don't know. It's just like so much worse than something like Briar Pack Alpha, which is uncommon,
Yeah, well,
right?
that card's unbelievable.
So I feel that it's just like not as it's really not it's a little less powerful than I like as a rare.
No, that's
Not that
completely
it's not
fair.
cool,
That is completely fair.
but you don't really want to put more text on it, and changing the
Power toughness takes away a
doesn't
lot of the card.
doesn't do much. So I mean, like I think the card is I couldn't really think of a way to improve it.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
like playing it, I played it in that green deck and it was fine. It was really a 4/4 for 4, and like I said earlier,
Maybe you ambush something.
I liked the hexproof guy more.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, unless your part is really bad and you just like keep ambushing things, like
Yeah,
turn
yeah,
after turn, then yeah, the Hexproof guy's probably going to be better.
yeah. Although like the ambush,
The
I don't
threat
know.
of ambush is pretty good.
I'm just kind of imagining how I used to play Briar Pack Alpha, and it was like almost always during my turn.
Yeah, but that's a little different.
Yeah, it is, but no, it's fine. I don't
You can mirror your
have
own
it covered
Briar
for my
Pack
deck, but
Alpha with this next guy.
yeah, I didn't notice that. Oh, this next guy is also good with the uncommon Roaring Primadox.
Yeah, the bouncer guy.
It,
Yeah. This guy's sweet.
um,
This Force Mage. You don't like him?
he's fine. I'm not really excited about him, but I'd like probably play him in most of my decks.
Yeah.
He gets better the more like Timber Pack wolves you have, or Recluses or whatever. 2 drops.
Yeah. Again, it all depends on the 2-drop, as is
Yeah.
often the case.
I mean, you're often gonna play this guy as a 3-mana 2/2, and you're gonna feel horrible when you do that.
Yeah, but other times it's awesome.
It is, and it's nice to have a card like this rather than a card like Timber Watch Elf.
Yes, I agree. All right. Are we done?
We're done. We're done with green.
You got anything to say about the set?
I don't know, that's pretty fun. I seems fine. It's a good set.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm actually looking forward to playing it.
Well, I'm really excited about it for constructed. Cards like Thragtusk, Arbor Elf,
Yeah,
Farseek, Quirion Dryad,
yeah. As
Summit, again, Naturalize. There's Garrick. There's so many. This set has lots of play for constructed.
and just as important as what is in the set is what's in the set, aka 2 mana black removal spell, Wrath of God, and what else is missing?
I don't know. Does green have everything it usually gets? I feel like it does.
Yeah, well, Giant Spider is finally gone.
Ooh, yeah, but there's the even the Sarah Angel spider.
Yeah, yeah, slight upgrade, but still. Oh, Honor of the Pure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I knew there was another playable. Honor of the Pure is also not here.
Yeah, so I think that like with this set in, a lot of decks get a lot of redundancy. So I think we're gonna see like some of the most high-powered standard decks of all time over the next 3 months
Yeah, like I
or
said,
whatever.
Birds isn't in this either, but I would not be surprised if Birds was in Ravnica. But
Yeah,
yeah,
once Ravnica comes in, like, and everything rotates out, it's gonna be a completely different world.
yeah, I'm
And
actually really looking forward to it. I'm kind of sick of Standard.
I think that standard is gonna be fresh for the next couple months, actually.
Fresh
Like,
in that
I think
people
there's
are actually
enough.
going to have a chance against Delver.
Yeah, I think that green is better than Delver.
Yeah, no,
And
I
I
don't
think
doubt
that
it.
like there are enough fresh cards that it's not gonna feel super repetitive. I think the metagame is like going to develop over the next couple months.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking forward to watching it do that.
Yes, and if you would like to get an idea of that more specifically in about 15 minutes, I believe my article is going up. So not so much for you, but if you want to check it out, you should.
Yep.
But the people in the chat should definitely.
Yes, go read his article. He writes good.
Yeah, and thanks for having me on when the next set comes out.
Yeah, we'll do
Uh,
it again for sure. Thank you
or
for
if
coming
something
on.
up in between then, yeah.
Yes, thank you for coming on, and I do apologize for making you wait for so long.
It's fine, I don't care.
At
I,
least
I,
you got to
I,
bird my awesome cube draft deck.
I got over that. I was really, really excited when the guy had the Shining Shoal.
That was absurd.
I couldn't believe it.
I mean, I knew he had it too. Just
You
well, he didn't scoop,
said
right?
that, you didn't say anything. It
He was like
like,
digging and digging and digging, and then didn't scoop, and I'm just, all right. Well, I guess I like have to try and kill you.
oh, I mean, you won that game anyways. So
Yes,
whatever.
I did, but by the skin of my teeth, I needed to like draw instead of just having him die.
Also, the Cedric concession was so confusing.
Yeah, it was.
It
Yeah,
was unclear to me who won because
yeah,
I thought like,
yeah. It was very awkward, but I do like
well,
how we were just trash talking each other the entire time.
I thought he would have lost, and then he conceded. But then I
Yeah.
realized like, I actually think that you. I mean, did you win that game? I don't
Yes,
know.
yes. I think if I had clicked that extra guy, I was lethal. And even if I was short,
You
then
weren't lethal. You weren't lethal. You would have put him to 1, and you would have wildfired.
right. That's what I thought at first. But the chat was saying that I was lethal. So maybe
I don't think
maybe I was lethal, maybe I wasn't. But then I like
you weren't lethal.
wildfire.
You put him to 1, but you wildfire, and his Skitherix is only at 4/4 now.
Right. So then he has like a 2-outer.
But you lost all your creatures when you wildfired, I think.
No, the paladin and survives wildfire.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. So it was actually like a couple more turns of play potentially.
No. One more turn because we're both lethal on the next attack. So either he draws
What if he draws an artifact and you draw a?
Ather or
Yeah,
my
or
terminus.
something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I guess. But yeah, that was I might post that whole draft on YouTube because those were some sick matches and that
Oh,
deck
you
was
said
awesome.
the deck was really, really
It
interesting
was
too.
it was a brew.
I don't build decks like that.
I don't usually, but I was feeling a little tipsy trying to.
I'd like to build decks like that.
It's fun,
Just
man.
smokestack people out.
It's fun. You should just
You-
all you have to do is take lands over everything.
Is that what you did?
Yeah, pretty much.
It was like such a weird control deck. Would you have played smokestack if you had it?
Yeah, for sure.
That seemed like what your deck what kind of was.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on. Appreciate
Okay,
it.
yeah, thanks. And thanks to the chat
Yeah.
as well.
All right, see you next time.
See you later, AJ.
Peace. Travis Woo, everybody. What a lovely human.